They're still at it. Still kicking up dust after all these years. 150 years after the Civil War. The War of the Rebellion. They just won't let a sleeping dog lie.
Correction. The War of Northern Aggression.
Looks like Governor Rector got his way, even in death. Just look at the size of this tombstone.
I just happen to have a letter he wrote to Jefferson Davis himself on November 28th, 1861. Should I read it?
I reckon you'll read it anyway.
A conspiracy has been discovered in the northern part of this state against the Confederate government. Secret oaths, signs, and passwords adopted. The intention seems to be to join Lincoln's army if it gets into Arkansas. 27 men have been arrested and brought here today and now imprisoned. 100 more will doubtless be brought in a day or so. They say there are 1,700 in the state. What shall be done with them? I ask your advice on the premises. The district judge is not here. He ought to be at his post.
You want to know what I think of Jefferson Davis? I agree with John McCroy. He says he was Jeff Davis and all his friends in the whole Confederacy could rot in the middle of hell. And he would take them there too. He also swore that he wouldn't mind falling in, just to think Davis farther into the pit.
How gentlemanly of him.
Richter made my life a living hell, that old cuss. He made a jailbird out of me for a while.
It wasn't just sitting around a fire eating goober peas for me either, brother. But I was glad to fight the Confederate States of America, and I would do it again.
Not me. That scallywag Richter had no right making me join.
It's better than being killed, you deserter. You're lucky to be acquitted for treason, too.
Boys, is that any way for the mighty cloud of witnesses to act? Remember, we are here to watch them finish their race.
Mama, I just can't help it. I'm still fit to be tied. I'm about nearly losing my foot to that sawbone in corn. I saw cut off limbs by the wagon load.
Well, you didn't lose it. You were spared.
Quit your belly aching. I'm just glad you didn't further disgrace our family by joining the Yankees like some of your Jayhawker friends.
Your chicken guts, you big boss man. You peacock about like nobody's business.
Still having conniption fits as usual. All this dawn is making me tired. Don't count, coward. You look a little peaked.
Not by a jugful.
Now, boys, just stop it.
Mama, he's always trying to do things on his own hook. Just join to get himself out of trouble. If he had his way, he'd strike a few lucifers in some of the houses around here just to be ornery.
I'm sure he had his reasons for joining that club.
Club, Mama? You talk about it like it's some Sunday afternoon party around the veranda drinking joy juice. It's far more sinister than that.
We had our reasons. Peace and the Constitution were our slogans.
Arkansas Peace Society. Sounds pretty darn innocent. Well, I was out there doing the right thing, dodging hornets.
Well, you always were the secretive one.
I'll tell you about secrets, Mama. He secretly was guilty of treason against the Confederate States of America.
If you call wanting to live your life in peace and harmony treason, then go right ahead.
Don't you remember, Mama? When we used to live up in the hills and all of his friends would go around doing this, and then another guy would do this, and then he'd hoot like a hoot owl, and then another guy would howl like a wolf.
forgot to say it is a very dark night.
It's not so dark as it'll be in the morning. That's how they knew each other.
Vaguely remember. Y'all were always so rambunctious.
I suppose you think Lincoln and the Yankee Army were right to try to tell us what to do.
It's not a bad idea preserving the Union.
Preserving your behind, you mean? I had to tear you up like a new ground.
It's not like we owned a passel of slaves or anything.
It wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights.
You mean the rights to own slaves?
We were good to our Moses. We even gave him land after he was free, and he decided to stay with us after he was emancipated.
Not everybody was good to their Moses, and many owed more than one. Even skulls. Not all were treated like family. And I'm just saying, most would have been a whole lot happy if we weren't always hovering around them, telling them what to do every day. Don't you think it was any different from when I was marching with the Yellar Rag Boys chain gang? We were the 78th Center. We were chained like slaves. Embarrassing. Humiliating. I am mad enough to spit nails. That was 6 days and 125 miles I will never ever forget.
150 years is a long time to still want to spit nails.
Crazier than a Bessie bee. I suppose you're gonna call me a black Republican.
That too. Lincoln was a political genius. He decided to get on the good side with Britain and France with all his uppity goody two-shoes morality about slavery and everything.
Don't talk to me about morality.
Governor Rector sure was gracious with you. He told him he could hang you from a tree and stretch your neck out a foot long before you would join the Confederate States of America.
Don't say that word, hanging. Why, here lies David O'Dodd, a boy accused of being a Confederate spy, 17 years old, and they hung him from a tree. No one should be hung from a tree. Oh, his poor mother. She must have just been brokenhearted.
Did you really think you would not be caught by the local citizens committees or the county militia and the justice of the peace courts?
I was just afraid of being killed by the others. That's what they said would happen if any of us betrayed them. I will ever hold and always conceal and never reveal the thing in the connection with the society, and that I will, on the shortest notice, go to the assistance of any brother at the peril of my life. So help me God, as it is a matter of life and death, with us who shall betray to our enemies the existence of society, he shall forfeit his life, and it shall be the duty of this society, having received the knowledge of nay such traitor, forthwith to inform the brethren, each of whose duty it should be to prosure such traitor, and take his life at the peril of his own.
That sounds worse than what you opposed. You and that Peter Tyler can talk about home protection and pro-union sympathy all they want. Y'all were just a bunch of spineless weaklings in the end. In my opinion, you weren't fit to serve in Marmaduke's regiment.
Marmaduke makes me want to vomit my internals. I don't give a hoot in the Hades that he went to West Point either.
You're clandestine unionist friends. I remember them hiding in the woods and joining the Union Army. So you see, you ended up fighting your own club members.
It was the poor man's fight and the rich man's war. I had no choice. My heart was never in it.
If it had been, you would have been a better soldier. You wouldn't be limping like that for the rest of your life.
You act like this is unusual. There were secret societies throughout the entire South, except in Louisiana.
Boys, it is finally time to put our differences aside and just love each other. I mean, look where we are. We are in Little Rock, Arkansas, in unity. The Union was preserved, and we went on to be the most successful and strongest nation in the whole wide world. This is where the descendants of our slaves went on to integrate public schools. This is where Little Rock Central High happened.
You're right. It's time to move on.
But we never need to forget what happened, or it could happen again.
At the Centennial, 50 years ago, for the Civil War, we were not there yet. We had a lot of work to do, and we're not at rest. But now it's better. Now we just have to learn to thrive amongst each other. I am so proud of you boys. When you went on to be a successful farmer, and you raised a strong Southern family with strong values, and you were a farmer without any slaves. And you went on to be a successful businessman and civic leader. And you were a great husband and father. You two helped make Little Rock what it is today. We have Sesquicentennial festivities to witness. Now, skedaddle!